Okay, on with
All
the
right.
show.
All right. We're in little boxes, but that's okay. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm Dave Gloom. This is Randy Rhodes, and one of these days we will both get it right.
There we
Uh,
go.
for those, there you well, okay.
And
You
that's
can join me too if you want.
yep. There we go. Oh, hey, let me get this one here. I
Give
gotta
me
get rid of
that
him.
one.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. I'm a little bright this morning because too much makeup. That's the excuse. Too much makeup. Uh, Everyone knows that I lost my Windows 11 Pro laptop because I spilt my cup of Bubba all over the keyboard, and I don't think it's going to recover. I'm looking around at other things, including something that Colonel Rhodes has recently decommissioned from his his collection, and if all goes well, maybe that's an option. There's an option up here in Florida, a little closer. I think the same thing, not quite as nice. It's locked into Windows 10, I believe. No, actually, it's updatable, so it could go in. It could hit Windows 11. I don't know much about it. I haven't really figured it all out yet. Uh, the best bet is probably to take Tron, as I affectionately call her, to a local professional and have him rip her apart and tell me whether or not she can be fixed. And I'm trying to find free places to do that, but that's not important. We are here. We're live on the Colonel Randall Rhodes page on Facebook, not on my page. So come and find me if you can. Uh, Chat room wise, I don't know what's going on. I don't see it from the. I don't see the live chat, but anyway, we're here and we're live and we're doing our best to tell you that I'm okay. Randy's okay. The Chromebook hopefully will be okay. That we're using. I mean, the Chromebook that we're using will be fine. Tell you that I'm okay. Randy's okay. The
Yep.
Chromebook
There
will
you
be
go. Sorry. There you go.
hopefully the Windows 11 Pro will come back to life and be okay. And if it doesn't, then we'll make some other option. We're still a little bit away from doing that. But anyway, I've repeated that the second time. So, Randy, what is new and exciting
In
today?
my world. So I just sent you the show in Messenger. I'm not sure if you're able to share it out to your folks from that aspect or not. Um, so right now we are live on my Colonel Randall Rhodes plus like five other of my own particular groups. So while I do some chit chat, if you want to try and figure out from your messenger, if you can share it out to your folks, that'd be great. So yeah, electronics are great. They're our friend. It certainly beats the old way of doing the bongo drums or the smoke the blanket and the smoke and the smoke signal like the Native Indians used to do. Um, Certainly beats do this like the gorillas do to show who's boss and who's not boss. So we've come a long way in electronics. I mean, look at Elon Musk. I mean, my God, he's steps away from going to Mars, and I'll probably be dead or close to being dead by that happens, or just too old to for him to say, "Just send Randy Rhodes and his family to Mars. They'll be a great asset to it." I don't see that happening. I know he just successfully launched another one of his rockets. Up until now, the last I think two blew up on the takeoff stage, but he did successfully just launch one with an astronaut inside. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I haven't had a chance to do any Googling on that. Um, but when we have our electronics and we depend on them for our source of news, our source of uh, talking to our friends and family, and then we have hiccups along the way, or you miss a payment on the monthly subscription, or something like that, or you
That's
spill
really
coffee on the
that's really
keyboard.
bad. You missed the payment. They camp out on your doorstep and
Yeah.
wait for. Actually, they camp out inside your doorstep and they wait for you there. so that when you
Yeah.
open the door,
Yeah.
they're waiting for you.
Yeah, or the individual person who spills coffee on the keyboard, that
You can
often
you can
happens.
you can tell everybody I am the one. You can tell everybody I am the one who did it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It was a bad mistake, and I promise that I will be far enough away from any electronic device when I.
Yeah. Hey, and I apologize for this power by EV Mux thing going on here. What
That's all right.
happened was I got pissed off at EV Mux and I canceled the subscription.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I erred in my anger and I came back on. So that's why we're allowed to be on now. But I lost the ability to have my own little thing going on here. So come next Wednesday, I'll make a payment and that'll go away and we'll be good to go again.
The,
But
the, these things are they have no compassion, no no sense of you're messed up in life and you just need a little bit of assistance because I had Restream, a paid subscription on Restream, and unfortunately, our Chihuahua passed away. And like you would do with anyone else, you do your best to do whatever you have to do to kind of spread that and keep them with you. And unfortunately, we lost the battle.
yeah,
So we fell behind on some things there,
you know,
and uh, you know, I understand business. I understand businesses. No, you can't just go to every business and say, "Hey, I'm having trouble. Can you help me?" Most of them don't, and
yeah,
they're not in business to help everybody. So I understand that that's what they did. I did do a plug. Actually, I should have. You can't just go to every business and say.
go ahead.
I should have put it on my. I should have taken the show from your page and said it's on my page.
Yeah.
So
I understand what you're saying because our pets become. If you're a true pet lover, okay, your pet becomes your sons, your daughters, your grandsons, your granddaughters, and you start referring yourself to, I'm your daddy, I'm your mommy,
I
you're
got
my
to
son.
interrupt you for just a second. You're not on the Colonel's page. Which page are you on?
I am on uh, all roads lead to genealogy. It's a
Yeah,
well,
tell them
I should
about
I,
that for a second while I do that. I'm on the
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, I am now on the Colonel. Okay, I just changed that to Colonel.
Well,
I'm
tell them. Tell what you
so
put.
okay, folks, if you're looking to see it, I'm on the Colonel Randall Rhodes page. I'm on the All Roads Lead Genealogy
Right. Which
page.
one are you on right now? The All Roads Lead You
Yes,
Home. Okay.
yes.
All right.
I'll have an image of my grandfather's car with some kids.
Okay. Give me a segment. Talk amongst. As
But
Everton would say, talk amongst
so, so
yourselves.
yeah, I do it quite often. So your pets become part of your family, and it wasn't too long ago we rescued a dog from the pound. His name was Troy, and all the other dogs are barking like crazy. And here's this old dog. It's like laying like dejected, like no one's going to choose me. I got a health issue. I'm just gonna lay here and not bother anybody. That's the one we chose because he was quiet. And then he had, we knew that he had he was overweight, and we knew that he didn't really have a lot of time left in life. But you know what? We adopted him, we brought him home. It took him like 2 days to realize that he was not going anywhere, and he started protecting the house. And that dog, he was old. He was um, uh, I forget what the breed was, but he was an old dog with the droopy ears kind of thing.
Forgot
But
to.
that dog would start barking,
I forgot
and
to.
we looked outside to try and figure out what is he barking at to see people from down at the end of the street walking towards our house. And I'm looking at Troy. Troy, did you hear them walking, or did you smell them? So holy, the dog was phenomenal, and we had him for 2 years, and we finally had to put him down, which was really, really, really tough. And my daughter-in-law knew how much that he meant to us, so she paid the $300 to have him cremated, so we could have his ashes. And his ashes are downstairs on our TV stand. And uh, me personally, that's not the way I would like to remember
I'm
them. In
going
a
to ask you to do something that's going to take probably 5 minutes.
Sure,
I may cut out in the meantime because I'm going to go to Bluetooth and plug the headphones in like I
okay,
did. Okay, thank you.
yep. So uh, I'm not, I'm not the kind of guy. You want me to cut you out?
Yes.
Okay, bye. I'm not the kind of guy that uh, would really want to have uh, the ashes because you go from this big dog, you love him, you see his face, and here he is in his ashes in a box. But he meant so much to my wife, and my uh, daughter-in-law realized that, and she, out of the kindness of her heart, paid to have it done. And my wife was forever uh, happy that she has Troy with her, right? Um, but now we have 7 cats. 4 of them are ours, my wife's and mine. And it's like we're in our 60s, uh, and we had one cat lived 20 plus years. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, we better get a will together to figure out who's going to take care of our cats when we're not here, because I don't want them getting put down because we died. Um, so did you folks see about what happened? I think it was in Idaho or Iowa, one of those Midwestern states. Firefighters responding to a fire, and firefighters do what firefighters do, head on right into it, right? And when they arrive, some asshole with a sharpshooter's gun started shooting at them. And I listened to the radio dispatch that was going live, and it was like a war zone. Some asshole deliberately started a fire just so he can shoot at the responders. Now, as of 9 o'clock, when we first started working to come on live here, I couldn't find any updates on the fact that the guy is dead. I'm happy for that because he killed 2 firefighters, and a third one is fighting for his life. And now the firefighters are out there trying to put that fire down. I'm sorry. If he had lived, I would hope that he would face the death penalty. And I don't know who he is. I don't know what nationality, what religion, what politics he follows. But, you know, I, I think that these men and women who put on a uniform to go fight for our cause won't think twice about responding on the next fire call or the next, break-in call or whatever. They're just going to respond. And if, hell raised down on them, they'll deal with it. And that you have to give them. That's why, in my book, they're heroes, modern day heroes. You know, there he is. There you go.
All right.
There you go. Hey, you
Well,
got something. You got something growing out of your ear. What is that?
oh, I don't know. I have
You
no idea.
have no idea.
I have no idea. I promised my wife and everybody in this house and everywhere within 4 blocks that I would keep my voice down and be a good boy because I am so happy to do this.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I got my door shut, but even with the door shut, this microphone I have will pick up my wife's voice because she
Yep.
talks loud,
And
and
my dogs, or our dogs here, or anyone in the kitchen can do the same thing. Their voices can be picked up in here. They don't mean to, and I don't mean to, but I am so excited about being back,
there
about
you go.
doing
Yeah.
what I enjoy and some people enjoy.
Well, I'm glad we were able to
And
make this happen. Albeit we're late.
yeah,
I'm not
I know I
sure.
was.
How many of your
Well, we may not, and they'll watch it on they'll watch it on the whatever you call the playback. They'll
yeah,
watch it on the playback and they'll feel
they'll
bad
they'll
about
they'll,
that.
re, they'll rewind it,
They'll come
right?
and watch us. They'll come and watch us the next time we do it, and
Yeah.
that will make me very happy. And I want to thank my wife Donna for offering her Chromebook, which is newer than mine. Couldn't update the Chrome browser because it is too old. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I don't know when we're going to do it. Uh, Donna said to me last night, that she couldn't believe that I did what I did. And my response was, I couldn't believe I did what I did because I picked up Bubba and I took a swig. I'm not going to take a swig because I don't want to hurt or risk hurting hers. And I dumped it on the keyboard. It slipped out of my hand, which was definitely a Lewy body dementia issue. It slipped out of my hand. I picked it up. It slipped out of my hand again. I picked it up a third time and it slipped out of my hand again. So that keyboard probably has a bath full of 100% caffeine, excuse me, 100% Colombian coffee with 100% caffeine, of course. And that morning, my daughter in law made it for me and it had caramel chocolate creamer. So it probably, I don't know. I mean, I might find someone who might be able to rip it apart gently and be able to clean it. I really don't know. I'm one of these people that I don't want you to tell me how much something will cost because I'll bring it to you and have you do it. And then if I find out, well, I won't be mad at you, but if I find out that you can't fix it, I'll be mad at me because I paid the $150 as opposed to $150 that was a better solution. So I really don't know. And I and we Donna have a lot of stuff going on that I, I, I really can't just. She really can't just. We really can't just allow me to go play with $150.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I understand. I
so
certainly understand.
I appreciate Randy doing this morning. I appreciate anybody who finds it or even finds the playback. Uh, it just, Donna's sitting on the other side of the bedroom, and I'm sure she can see the smile on my face
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just back having a grand old time. And if I could keep my voice at this range of this level all the time, doing the broadcast when Donna's in the room because she doesn't want to hear the speakers and so if I could keep my voice at this level all the time and keep the volume at this level all the time when people aren't in here and I'm the only one in here, life would be great because I'll be honest with you, I hate wearing headphones. I really do. But
Mm.
but tell us some more. Don't let me talk the whole
Oh,
time.
no, no. Check your page. I just sent. I'm showing live on your personal page, Dick
My
Logan.
page. Okay, hold on.
I had to do
I have
some
to
rearranging here.
crack open this one. I had all kinds of not problems, but all kinds of things I was trying to do to make the Chromebook reduce the load on the Chromebook yesterday, and 3 times that I remember, I changed my Facebook password after I did it, and because it made me do it, and I forgot it. No, I actually didn't forget it. I just it wouldn't work. And then on the fourth time, I changed it, and it worked. And a bunch of things got signed out. I should have left everything logged in, but a bunch of things got signed out, and because of that, it left things not really signed in where they're supposed to be. All right, great. It is now on my page
Is it there?
from Randy Rose, and it's on there from me.
Good.
So I will delete the one from me because the one from you is enough. Don't need it twice. And again, I appreciate what we're doing, and we're just having a good old time, and we're back, and if this is the way God wants it to be, and Donna's willing to let me use her Chromebook just for broadcast, not for playing around. This old one, the Chromebook 3, uh, is fully capable of my browsing around on Facebook. It's not as comfortable as other options, but for right now, it's okay. But I interrupted you, so go ahead.
No, I was just talking about, how, pets become part of our family to where we're actually, referring ourselves as their parents. Um, and I guess I have 4 cats now.
Yep.
We
Oh,
they were was left over from the sanctuary that we had to shut down, which really still pisses me off. That someone actually complained they were saving cats, but um, be it as it is, they have now become part of our family, and we love them. We call them our children, and they call us mom and dad, which is very nice. They'll be, they say, hey mom, hey dad, I'm hungry, feed me. Hey mom and dad, my toys, Uh, no, they don't do quite that. But uh, some of your pets actually become part. They know your routine. They know when it's your bedtime. They know when it's time for you to
yep,
eat. Um, they just kind of all uh, find how your life is, and they become part of it. Now, there are a couple of our cats. Sometimes they'll say, "Screw you, mom and dad. I'm going to do it anyways, even though you don't want me to." Um,
yep,
and uh, but for the most part, they don't do that. We have one cat
no,
yet that uh, hasn't quite acclimated to living inside the house, even though she's been here almost 3 years now.
yep,
She was outside a little bit too long, and she is still trying to acclimate herself, which is fine. Um, but um, they are what they are. In fact, in some respects, they give us more respect than our living children. And I say that with like I know my son's not watching this program.
they become children. They actually
Yes, they
become
do.
well. I don't know if it's children or if it's surrogate parents or if it's you're not. Jackson Galaxy used to have the phrase, and I can't remember it. It used to be, it wasn't pet keeper. It was sort of like you were at the privilege of your animals. And I forget what he called it, and I will go to look it up. But it was something like you know it was a little bit more respectful than calling you a keeper, but you were kind of you served that animal, and so when they're not here, they're kind of crazy. And then even to say that, I woke Donna up in probably half the house because we had our bedroom door open, and I swear to God, it felt like not the Rottweiler that lives with us, but it felt like there was a Rottweiler in bed between the
Mm,
two of us. And all I can say is whoever this Rottweiler was stole all my blankets,
Stole all your what?
stole all of my blankets.
Oh, your blankets. Okay.
Yes, and I was not, I was not happy about that. So, I kind of covered myself up as best as I could and went back to sleep. And then it felt like it did it again. And when I woke up, I wanted to cover, before I woke up, I guess, I wanted to cover my wife up with blankets to make sure she was warm. And I don't know where that came from because it can be 55 degrees in here. And the one thin blanket that Donna uses is more than enough, I guess, to keep her warm and comfortable. But for some reason, I did my best, I guess, before I actually woke up to try to cover her with blankets. And I sleep with two. One's a little heavier than
Mm.
one, and that keeps me that keeps me comfortable. I'm one of those. We can talk about it later if you can find those. The word comes to mind is compression blanket. And I don't know if that's what it's called, but if I could actually find one of those, I would get rid of the two that I have and use that instead. But anyway, you're right. Pets do become a member of your family. And then, like I said, it's either children or something else from that. But they take care of you, and you take care of them, and that's all I'm going to say on that note. Because Donna is in the room watching, and it's still a sore subject.
Yeah, so we're playing on like five pages and groups now, so we're doing
Good,
good.
good.
I got several windows open trying to catch any comments that might come
So we're
through.
playing on like
Let me get this turned this way so I can see any comments. So if any comments come through, we'll be able to
Okay,
we're
respond
playing
to
on
them.
like five
Get rid of this one
pages
here.
groups.
Boom. Okay, so
okay.
um, let's talk a little bit of politics, I guess.
Yeah,
With that a little bit.
let's talk a little bit about politics.
So I guess
Yes,
today, they're supposed to be getting ready to vote on that big, beautiful bill. Uh, that a lot of people don't like the name of it, but Trump is Trump.
it doesn't sound beautiful, even with a Trump name on it, because Democrats are doing everything to make sure it doesn't pass
Yes.
because it's rumored to give billionaires a big tax break. But I watched a President Trump press conference yesterday where he actually said if it doesn't pass, the middle class taxes are going to go up about 68%. And I'm thinking to myself, for a family that's just about already broke, we will we will be finally broke, paying all of our income to a few things that we have to pay and the federal government. And it's not Trump. I I want to think it's not Trump, but the federal government doesn't care. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I was listening to before we came finally went live. I was listening to the opening statements by the various people, and I think it's Schumer. Um, he was saying, first off, he was saying all
Did he
kinds of
resign and say I'm out of here?
what?
Did he resign and say I'm out of here?
No, no, he was bad mouthing Trump, calling him all kinds of
Of
names.
course,
Oh no,
of course.
he said he called him a liar, and he had five statements, and he ended with Trump's a liar. And a couple of things he pointed out was that the Medicare is going to be cut out, and Trump said it wouldn't. He's a liar. He said he wasn't going to raise taxes,
Well,
and he is. He's a liar. And And then, of course, the Republican came up behind him,
Yep.
totally the opposite of what he was saying. But we as people, are never going to know what's inside that bill until it's
Well,
passed, and then we start
we
living
we
it.
we aren't, but this time Chuck Schumer wants all 900 plus pages to be read to the senators by staffers. And I'm thinking 900 pages, 900 plus pages, because I can't remember exactly, read by staffers. The staffers are going to be overtime to read that to the senators. The senators are locked in at 174,000 plus whatever they manage to scrape up, but 174,000 salary, so they don't get overtime. But this whole thing is just ridiculous. And then, like you said, Medicare is supposed to save like $800 million. If they saved $800 million because they cut out all the fraud and all the waste, you would think that the rest of us on Medicare would get an increase in services, or at least, I don't know, more services that they're supposed to provide to us. And isn't that better?
Well, the one tax that I guess that's supposed to go up is going to go up on those people, if I understood correctly, who earn $300,000 or more a year. Now,
Okay.
to me, that's not middle class. That's upper middle class,
Well,
or
right.
even wealthy. Because $300,000 a year, that's a load of money, and
But if you
I'll never
drop
see that.
if you
Huh?
dropped AOS, if you dropped AOC back down to her 174,000, took away everything else from her that is questionable or they've already decided is illegal, uh, and only gave her $174,000 a year, her taxes don't go up. My tax, well, my tax, I don't know about your particular case, but our taxes don't increase because my income is non-taxable and it will stay that way, I
Right.
guess, until they change it and decide that they're going to start taxing me. But you know, this game has just got to stop. It really needs to be like Warren Buffett said with inflation, 3%. It hits 3%. Congress doesn't get paid until they bring it back down to 3% or less. Well, same thing with the budget. You stop getting paid from the minute the budget negotiations start until the end of the budget negotiations, and you have something to
Hmm.
send to the Senate. And you don't get paid until the Senate either approves it or sends it back to the House and asks for a few changes, and then you send it back, and they say okay, and then it goes to the president. But my point is that nobody gets paid until we have a budget because they all get paid out of the budget.
I don't know. Politics. I still think that living under a monarchy, a true monarchy, is still a lot better than what we have now. Because, when our forefathers first came here, the purpose was to leave the king. And because he was a mean king, he was doing all kinds of stuff against his people.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. And, they set up this whole new way of uh, governing over a people. And it's like, I don't know how the hell they came up with all the clauses, all the articles, all the this, all the that, and it went into this huge,
Mm-hmm.
book of rules and stuff. When you look at the Native Americans, okay, they had their chief,
Mm-hmm.
and if the chief is fortunate to have a son, he was going to be the next one in line. They had their medical guy. What do they call him? the medicine man. He was like had power, but it was so easy. I mean, they ruled over at that point before we started wiping them out over millions of citizens of their various tribes. And every so often, the various tribe leaders will come in. They'll sit down, they'll talk, and they'll decide who gets access to this river or who gets access to hunt here and that kind of thing. And it's like they managed to do it without it wasn't even written down. Here
Yep.
we are trying to you know have a better way of ruling over a people, but you have one side of that government setup that wants nothing more than to frickin' destroy what's been created. You know, we have an election coming up soon in New York, and I don't know how the hell that guy got chosen to be the forerunner for the Democrat Party, but he is by religious faith a Muslim. And I just
They're
can't see how he can effectively rule over a city that is far from being the most pious of people. I can only envision he's going to start instilling his own personal religious beliefs on the people. And if you don't like it, you either leave or get arrested. I see
he said
Sharia law.
well, he said he wanted to spend $65 million on transgendering children. And my immediate response when I read it was, I'm not going to judge what he said, but I want him to explain to me A, where is the $65 million coming from? And whose children is he going to transgender? I mean, this is not a fluke. This is not me saying something out of one side of my head. This is not me trying to insult. Well, it is insulting Democrats, but your Democrat lead said this is what he wants to do. He wants to come after your children for $65 million in New York City taxes that he's charging you and transgender your children. Now, what is he going to do with them when he transgenders them? Because the question is, does he consider them gay at that point? Because we all know that as a religion, not as a group of people, there's a difference. But that have been radicalized in it as a religion don't believe in gays. And there are plenty of videos you can watch on YouTube or anywhere else you can go that shows you what they do to gay people.
Yeah.
So, if I lived in New York City and I had children, hell no. Hell no. Are you gonna take $65 million of my taxes and start transgendering children? If you haven't learned it by now, it doesn't work. At
When
least
you
in sports, it doesn't work.
well, when you think of the dollar amount, the 65 million, and I wonder how he came across that particular dollar amount for a city in New York, that's not a lot of money when you consider how
No, it's not.
expensive it is to live there. But President Trump made it quite clear in a press conference yesterday that if he is chosen to be the next mayor, oh my God, help us,
Yeah.
that he said that he had better watch himself because he will cut off the purse strings to that city.
Right. I also read that if Zoran, I believe is his first name, if
Yeah,
Zoran becomes the Democrat frontrunner, he's already interviewing Republicans to run against him, and he will find someone. And we all know that he will find someone. And you may hate his guts, but at least he's not going to spend $65 million to transgender your children. And hopefully, the Republican that will run against him will realize that that's a bad thing to think about doing also, because that will ruin your chances of a billionaire who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest putting in a lot of money to get you elected.
When you look at, I guess I guess what we're seeing is what goes wrong comes around. When you
Well,
think about, the Crusades and what the Western nations, Christian Western nation did to the Muslim countries. And here it is where we're actually across the board welcoming in the Muslims for whatever reason that the government's given. But to allow them to come in and then to set up shop and to start living life like they did that they left, that they said was so terrible. Now they're living that exact same life here, and they're convincing Americans this is a great way of life. Hey, ladies, you don't want to live that way. You want to get covered up, and you want to be, number six wife to this guy, or hey, 9-year-old girl, you want to be the wife to this, 67-year-old guy, and if you go against us, we're going to put you out in the square. We're going to
yep,
whip you, and that's what's
yep,
going on in these different countries, cities. And the governments are doing absolutely nothing to protect their citizens.
hmm
I, I believe that this is our way of going out. This is the Western world coming to an end with the Muslims in control and living
yep.
Sharia law according to the way they see it. And I hate to
Well,
say it, but it's what I'm seeing.
yep. I think
And
I thought we were going to see possibly the end. Period. I don't know who was going to fire it, but uh, one of the two involved in that war was going to fire something on the other one. The other one was going to fire back. Another country not involved in it would just decide to fire it at both of them, and God was going to jump in, and it was just going to be a flash, and that would be it. You might not even see what was going to happen, and I hoped that that is what it was going to be. But I'm having too much fun here most of the
yeah,
time, and I
yeah,
don't want to give it. I don't want to give it up. And for those of you who believe this is hell, well, you're here and you're a part of it, and maybe you get to go someplace else when you die. But I'm not ready to die.
yeah. And talking about death, I watch a variety of different types of programs
Yep.
to I won't say enlighten me, but while I'm doing my genealogy stuff, I need something to listen to or to occasionally to watch because at some point I start getting droopy eyed and I don't want to end the shift too soon, so I watch different things and the different reels. And sometimes I wish the damn reels were longer because just as you're getting into the story or whatever it is they're talking about, it ends. It's like, oh shit. And I guess the only way to watch the whole thing is to give them $10 a month or whatever. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I watched this one page. It's called Paranormal Couple. It's a husband and wife. They have these different devices, like Michael Anthony does, and they go out to cemeteries and so forth, and they ask questions. And if there's a person's spirit who hasn't gone to heaven or gone to hell, and it's kind of like in limbo, and um, it's just I guess it boils down to if you're not strong in your faith and belief in God or whoever, and when you die, if your faith wasn't in the right place, you're going to be that person that's going to be stuck here in limbo. I've seen other videos where uh, this guy, I guess he has enough viewers where he actually makes some money, and all he does is he sits there in his chair and he has this computer, screens in front of him, and then he shares one, and people send him videos of ghosts or spirit happenings or whatever, and they
No, I lost.
he'll watch it and he'll
Okay.
he'll comment whether he believes it's real or
Headphones are
not.
dead.
And some of the stuff that he shares is it's scary to think that I hope when I die I go to heaven, but you won't know that until you're actually dead, and then it's just too late to figure it out. But when you mentioned earlier about a country that might push that button, Putin should take a lesson from Trump's page. Trump, Israel plastered Iran for days and wiped out a good proportion of their ability to strike back by air. And we sent in our high altitude bombers and fighter jets to launch these bombs onto these three nuclear sites. And they got there and got back without a shot being fired. Putin has the exact same capability of launching his high altitude bombers and dropping big ass bombs on Ukraine to bring that war to an end. So I don't know what game he's trying to play other than to wipe out, a million people of his soldiers, or to destroy a dozen more of his cities and naval bases and so forth, just to have something to rebuild once the war is over. But he has the ability to end it. He could, launch a nuclear one, a one, missile strike of a nuclear capability. Um, but Zelensky went to, I think it was the NATO meeting a couple of days ago that Trump was at, and he had the balls to ask the leaders of the UN for, I think it was $175 billion in additional aid since Trump cut him off. Uh, I don't know. It's that war has to come to an end,
It
and
does.
just end it, cut your losses, and stop the killing.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Well,
I apologize for jumping around. My
that's
headset.
okay.
My headset apparently died, and I had to figure out a way to
Yeah,
get sound in my ears.
yeah. Devices that run on batteries tends to need to be recharged.
They
Uh,
do.
it's like my cell phone. Ouch! Just like my cell phone. I actually pay, I think, like $15, and I got this nice little device. If I can show it here, there it is.
There it
Um,
is.
it's magnetic, and it charges your cell phone at the same time,
Yep.
and it adds like another extra, real nice extra screen to your tabletop for watching things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so I was watching someone's particular show the other day and saw that um, a person shared a app that can create music with just a couple of words, and I saw it and I was highly impressed. And I reached out to my friends in the South because they know that I've been trying to create a broadcast of videos that they've been sending me. I got dozens of videos.
Mm-hmm.
Just I haven't, I can go live for just the videos, but I want to have a music or some type of intro to the show to build it up so people can, right? And
Yep.
like your introduction. Your introduction is phenomenal. I love it. So I actually um, reached out to that individual that helped the other individual, and
Mm-hmm.
he claims he's going to help build a song for me. But then at the same time that individual reached out to me, a guy by the name of Jesse Law, who was one of my past clients, he actually does the same thing. He has this app that all he does, he puts in a couple of words, and somehow this app creates the music and the singers to sing this song. So and he's doing it at no charge, which is great because I'm a no charge kind of guy. Um, so I'm anxious to see what comes of these two individuals to produce this music for me, because I do want to get it started. Because watching your, being a part of your show and seeing your intro, I'm so damn jealous. Uh,
You don't have to be jealous. I wish I could turn you over to the person who did mine, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
uh, things
Yeah.
happen and people go
Yep.
their separate ways, and that's
Yep.
just the
Yep.
easiest way to do it.
Yep. Um, uh, so we've talked a little bit of politics.
We did.
I'm not. We're not going to talk religion. Religion to me is a taboo topic. Even in my household, we don't discuss religion. Um, I will say this. Um, I think you see these. You see these images that people put online of an angel or Jesus in the clouds kind of thing. Um, Many years ago, when I was just a kid, not even a teenager, my grandmother, I don't know where she got it, but she got this black and white photograph, and we're talking. God, I'm 67, so we're talking at least 50, 55 years ago. She gave me this photograph because I was during the time of my, is there a God? And she gave me this photograph, and here it is. It's supposed to be Jesus in the clouds. Okay. And today, that exact same image is still hitting, the websites.
Yep.
Uh, so is it real? I don't know. But then I saw this. I belong to biblical archaeology and so forth, and I watched this one show, and they, uh, uh, with computers and so forth, God bless the modernization of the computer era. But they took the shroud of Turin or whoever that is, the shroud that
That's
was
close
that
enough. Close
yeah
enough. I
yeah
think it's Turin, but it's
Yeah.
close enough.
Okay, so they took that shroud that Jesus was wrapped in,
Hmm.
and supposedly when he went to be with his father, I guess his body superheated and he vanished. Okay, and so his body was kind of like implanted in this material, and this computer generated machine was able to take that and create a person. And they're able to show exactly where all the places where he was, injured by the Roman guards, and the blood and so forth, and said, and they were able to create what Jesus was supposed to look like.
Hmm.
And I'm going to tell you what, if that is real, that's phenomenal. I mean,
It
God.
is.
Um,
It
but
is.
I'm often asked. I have this one friend and she was Jewish, and she became a Baptist. And she married. Her husband passed away. She remarried, and he's also a very strong Baptist guy. And they know that I have been wavering, I guess you say, on my faith because of everything that's going on. And she keeps asking me, Randy, don't you think we're in the end times? Randy, don't you think Christ is coming back soon? And I said, to her, I said, I've been hearing that from my grandmother when I was a toddler,
Hmm.
that the time is near. The time is near. Prepare yourself. And I said, what's it going to take for God to say, enough is enough is enough? It is time to
Well,
end this
well,
creation.
I've said it before, and I'll politely say it again to anyone who is not of my Jewish faith that it's been 2025 years since he died and came back and went back, and he has not been back. And there have been some terrible things that have happened in those 2025 years. And you would think that if you were God or God's son, you would come back and say, no, that stuff doesn't happen anymore. Or maybe he gave up on us and decided that we were beyond fixable, and he'll hit the red button at some point when he's ready. And Earth, I don't know. I'm just going to say Earth 3.0. We all know it's been many more than just the one that we're on now, and it will start again. Uh, I tried to flip it over to the live chat to see if you're watching, but wait a minute. If I'm watching it on my page,
Yeah, I see you watching.
but it doesn't work that way though. In order for the, I don't think the live. Wait a minute. Hold on. No, I don't want that. I'm gonna think for a second. If I am in watching, I see that. So either, but it says that 25 people are watching, or there were 25 views. So I don't, I don't really know, but we will get that all figured out, and we will just get it figured out. And if we don't get to you today while we're going, I appreciate that you were here, Randy. I'm sure appreciates that
Yeah.
you were here, and it's turned out the way I wanted it to today, Doctor, Professor, whatever I call you, whenever
Yes.
whenever
Well, yeah,
you're on. That it's just been
yeah.
a
For
mishmash,
yeah,
and around
exactly
the
a
table.
mismatch. Yes, and we are live on Twitter on X. I'm sorry, we're live on X. Um,
I never made it that far because it was going to cost me $11 a month. And
yeah, yeah,
as much as I want to be on X, I can't spend $11 a month right now.
yeah. I thought what the heck, I'll try it once and get my blue check mark, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're uh, for having a last minute kind of mismatch of things. So at least we're live.
Mhm.
After the fact, you can share it to whoever you want to share it to, and they
Yep.
can
Yep.
do
I will.
post game talk about it. Um, but at least now we know what we can do for the next
Yep.
time and
Yep.
be prepared for,
I
unless you get your stuff up and running.
no. The only thing that's bothering me is I can't figure why my face is so white, and it's not Donna's Chromebook. It's just the way
I
it's coming up.
it's probably the intensity of your screen that's lighting your face up. 'Cause I've seen the same thing with the other person's broadcast. He'll go from being in a dark area to a bright light. And I think it has something to do with the intensity of
Yeah,
your screen,
I have
which
to.
you have to go. You go in there and adjust it and your settings
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
for the brightness.
yeah.
But we all know you're white, and
Yeah.
some people are just whiter than other people.
Wow. I wonder if this will help. No, you can't do that. I'm
Now,
sorry.
a hat with earmuffs on don't
No,
work
you
too
can't.
well.
You have to take the ear hit. You have
Yeah,
to
yeah, yep,
do
yep.
it
Yeah,
this
take
way.
it off. Yep, there you go, and then put that on. There you go.
That doesn't help. That didn't help either, really.
Oh, see now you look like Chucky. Where he's always wearing his hat and
Well,
the
I know you're not in Chromebook land. You're in Windows 11 land, and you're able to use higher than 720p, and
yeah,
that's probably what we're using here because that's
yeah.
usually the max that most Chromebooks can go without
Yeah,
getting a
yeah, I
little
was
bit ahead.
surprised. EV Mux, and the reason why I started using EV Mux was because they didn't charge extra for the high definition camera that I have. The other streaming shows that broadcasts that I had, they wanted me to do the upgrade so I
Yeah,
could make use of the high def camera, which I said screw this on.
yeah,
Um, so I have two cameras. I have the 720 camera plus the high def. I got the 720 on my all-in-one
yeah,
computer, which is in my second office, which is going to soon be taken over by the Southern Independence Association. She has brought me on as her newsletter editor in chief. She's going to be sending me all kinds of equipment, and I'm going to be doing I'll be doing her newsletter. I'll be doing printing out membership cards and stuff. So I'm gonna be a busy little beaver whenever
You're
she,
going to be a busy little beaver.
sends the stuff to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, even
Yep.
my iPads make for a very good backup computer.
Yeah.
I'm able to do live shows if I have to. Um, I just learned that to do the live show you have to be like this, but to see the comments you got to
Yeah.
go like that, and then it
Yeah.
kind of messes up.
That
Um,
was that was the problem that I had with I had an iPad Air 2 second generation, and that was part of the problem that it had to be vertical because they built the camera in the far left side, so it had to stand up. That option, if you buy it, is like $150 or more, and or just find someplace to stand it up. So I didn't do that. Then I couldn't read the screen, so uh, I didn't use that for very long. But yeah, part of my problem, the reason we're so wide, is that we're trapped in 720p land,
yeah,
and that's pushing that's pushing the Chromebooks because that's what they do. And I learned on that note, don't spill coffee on your Windows 11 Pro laptop, and you'll have greater than 720p for the rest of time.
yeah. There you go. I want to show the people here something here.
Okay.
Uh, did it save? Where'd you go? There it is. I want to show you guys this thing. 3 days ago, my daughter uh, was sitting on the sofa and she saw something that was stuck between the window and uh, the actual screen. I have to do is figure out where my original broadcast here is. There it is. I got so many windows open, it's unreal. So I want to show this to you. So she
Okay.
saved this little baby, praying mantis. Okay, so I saved it. I was able to open up the window and so forth. Then left that. This is a little guy. And then the next day, I'm outside doing my Judgment Tree broadcast. And
Mhm.
I was walking in. Thought I felt something on my face. So I'm still live. So I said, hold on, folks. I think there's something on me crawling. So I went back to my bathroom mirror. Couldn't see anything there. So, okay, maybe it was nothing. So I'm still live. And I'm walking in my living room. All of a sudden, I saw this damn praying mantis was on me. And now this praying mantis was teenager size. The other one was a baby.
Okay.
So I freaked out, ended the broadcast safely and securely, got the praying mantis and put it outside live. And
Good.
then yesterday, this one shows up at my back freaking door.
Yeah.
This one.
Okay.
Uh, Look at that face. Is that a face that makes you want to say, holy freaking hell, what are you doing on my house?
He just doesn't want you to broadcast anymore.
And I'm thinking to myself, baby,
Yeah.
teenager, obviously an adult. How many of these suckers are on my around my house?
I don't know. I
And
don't
it's
know.
like, and my daughter Googled it, and that one happens to be what's called a Chinese praying mantis.
All the way from China.
That's what I was thinking too. That what the hell? I want to tell you what, dude.
That's what we're in those weathered balloons along the northern
Yeah,
border
the eggs, and these puppies, they can lay 400 eggs
per time.
per time.
Per time.
It's like no. So my daughter said, Dad, they eat insects, they eat other bugs, they're good for the ecology. Yeah, but not in my house.
Not on me.
Yeah, not on me. So I gave her a heads up. If I start seeing these everywhere, guess what Daddy's going to do? Daddy's going to call Ehrlich and have him come out and spray the shit out of our house.
Okay.
There's going to be this mist over my house to kill this damn praying mantis. Because I'm sorry. Um, now, um, yes. Anyways, I don't mind bugs as a rule of thumb, but when they start, showing up, well, my dad was still in the Air Force, and we were stationed in California,
Yep.
and my dad always hated uh, living on the base, so he always
Yep.
managed a way to find to be able to rent a house off base, and he rented this semi-detached rancher, right? And the people next door, Dad's Tatchos, were nice people. Weren't the cleanest people in the world when it came to cleaning house. And
Yep.
uh, we started seeing roaches in our
Yep.
house, which we have never, ever
Nope.
had. And my dad called up the landlord and said, "Hey, we have roaches in our house. We need to have this place sprayed." Well, the house was set up so that the garage, there were two houses with a garage, but the garage didn't have a complete wall. It was sort of like a half a wall, so you could actually see on the other side of the house. And so the guy came. He did right. He sprayed both houses, right? And then these people, for whatever reason, they moved out, and
Yep.
we went into their house. This is no lie, Dave. We were walking on dead roaches.
Yep.
They were every freaking where.
Yep.
They were in the oven, they were in the stove, they were in the cabinets, they were in the refrigerator. You only did the phone, like the old phones, where you only do the microphone, and there are dead roaches inside there. It's like, oh my God.
I am not sharing my mic with a dead roach. I'm sorry. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Or a live roach, for that matter, unless it can speak for me and get picked up on the mic for doing that. I'm sorry. You have to swallow, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you listen to me with a mouthful of coffee, you're likely to spit it out accidentally all
Yeah.
over your equipment because I might say something stupid or sarcastic and you might
Yeah.
laugh. But I don't want you to do that. I don't want to make you late for.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah. So,
kicking you
yeah,
off.
I
But I
just,
don't want to make you late either.
it's not a problem. I was just getting ready to say, to bring the show to an end.
Okay.
Is there anything that I know normally you have your sign off things? Is there anything that you want to talk about
I
before we sign
I
off?
I try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Monday and Wednesday are kind of like today, and Friday has always been our Red Friday
Red Shirt
salute,
Friday. Yep.
which we learned from Bill Muckler,
Yep.
who will be 90 years old
Yeah.
in
Did you hear?
August.
Did you hear Dick Van Dyke is in the hospital?
I did not hear that. Mr. Van Dyke, if anybody reads it, is not 100 years old yet. He's
He's 99
99.
and a half.
Right. Actually, yeah, maybe that or even three
Yeah.
quarters. He will be 100 in January, excuse me, December. I believe December 12th. You can Google it or your
Yeah.
favorite
Yep.
AI will, if you ask, will tell you as well.
Yeah.
But
He was
but
supposed
yeah,
to be at a.
I did not know that
He was
he
supposed
was
to be
in
at
the
a
hospital.
show. He was supposed to be at a show yesterday. Wasn't able to make it because he's very sick. And
Okay.
but his wife did it for him, and she indicated that he's 99 and a half years old.
Yep.
Uh, and
Actually,
you
looks
know
pretty good for a
he,
guy
he and
that's
he's
gonna be 100 years old.
he can still sing and dance. And I actually googled him. You probably people probably going to hate me for this, but I actually
I
googled him
don't care.
because he married this woman, and they're obviously
Right.
they're married like 16 years, but she
Hmm.
is so much younger than he is. That tends to happen in Hollywood.
But it
But
keeps you young too.
but I googled how much is Dick Van Dyke worth, and he's
A
only
lot of
worth
money.
only 50 million.
Only
And,
50 million?
I'm surprised. Obviously he probably has he's probably spent it along the way, but
Hmm.
so when his time comes, she's going to be a fairly wealthy
Yeah.
woman. But
Yeah.
I hate to see him
It-
go because so many of my childhood
yeah.
actors and actresses are going the wayside. It's like, wow, my time's coming soon too.
Well, Clint Eastwood, Clint Eastwood, I think, is 94, 95.
Yep, he's up there.
And but I could imagine the two of them on stage together or somewhere together. They would be laughing and joking around and having a great time.
Yep.
My favorite Clint Eastwood piece is still the piece where he interviewed the empty chair because
Yes.
Barack didn't show up at the convention, and uh, but that was good. But yeah, those two guys together would be great. Clint Eastwood is great because at 94, 95 years old, he still gets out of that Mercedes, which is the first one he ever bought when he started to make money. And people ask him, why do you still drive that? You're worth a gazillion dollars. You could go buy a new one. And he says, it was the first one I bought. It runs fantastic, and I enjoy driving it. It's probably worth a
Yeah.
gazillion dollars now because it's an old Mercedes. But
Yeah, who's that talk show host that has a warehouse full of cars he
oh,
buys?
Jay Leno,
Yeah,
Jay
Jay
Leno,
Leno. Yeah,
Leno's Garage.
I saw him do an interview the other day, and he was walking through his warehouse and all
Oh
these
yeah,
cars. So it must be
oh
nice.
god,
But okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. We're either going to be doing it using my services, or if you
yeah.
get your end up and running, that'd be great. Are we doing Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. as
Tuesdays and
well?
Thursdays at 7 p.m. Depending on whether or not we have other people. You're welcome, but at least other people I mean, you and I are fine, but if other people are there Tuesdays and Thursdays, that would be good too. And if a lot of people are trying to push me into dumping the Monday, Wednesday, Friday and just sticking with the 7 p.m., I said I don't know where it stands right now because I asked you to come back to it, and I don't know always if that 7 o'clock is good for you or not.
Yeah, the 7 o'clock is that's our time to eat dinner.
Okay.
And traditionally, that was the because I spent so much time in my office doing genealogy for my
Mhm.
clients that the 7 o'clock traditionally is my 1 hour with my wife to
Yep.
watch TV and to eat dinner.
Okay.
But push come to shove, my wife has been very generous in pushing the meal an
She
hour
has been.
ahead and allows me to eat before we go live. I mean, obviously, I can eat while we're live, but I don't like
No, I know. I
eating
don't know.
on the screen.
I don't either.
It's just
I don't.
kind of rude.
I don't either.
But
But yeah, and maybe
now,
know,
now the only time and I don't have a start date yet, but the only
mhm,
time and depending on how I work and schedule it, I do want to get my broadcast up and running for the South.
you should.
Uh, it won't be. I can. What I'll do is I'll Google the best time that a broadcast on Facebook gets the most the views, and that I'll gauge it that way. Um, but
Guests that
no,
want to be heard,
yeah,
just guests that don't want to do their own broadcast are still telling me that 7 o'clock is still the best start time. After 7 o'clock. Others do it later. I've said to Donna many times if I had my own studio and I woke up in the middle of the night, I'd walk into that and be in there all night because if I
yeah,
don't need any more sleep,
yeah.
that's where I'd be.
I used to work for when I lost my main job because of my four knee replacements. I got a job
We'll talk about
telemarketing,
that again too.
and they said the best time that they found to call was in the evening hours around the time that everyone is home from work. And I said, that's, obviously I needed a job, but in my head, I'm saying that's bullshit because people coming home from work don't want to be bothered by me trying to sell them a magazine subscription.
Well,
They
that
want to,
that may be true.
they want to eat dinner, they want to enjoy some TV
Yeah,
time. Uh, but, you know, and the company gauged your quality of work by how many people you actually talk to.
yeah,
But they had all these damn hangups. I used to work for Comcast, but back
yeah.
towards the end of my career with them, and I couldn't walk the 8 hours a day anymore. They gave me a job working in their call center,
Hmm.
I'm gonna talk about the call center in a second. But I was in the call center, and I was the one of the guys who would take the phone calls, troubleshooting silver money, bill wise, right? This is no lie, guys. I had this guy call me, bitching and yelling and screaming for like 15 minutes. And Comcast had a rule: if you're being swore at, and it got to a point where it was getting to be too much, you raise your hand. The supervisor would listen in, and if they deemed it necessary, he gave you the right to hang up. I couldn't
Mhm.
hang up on the guy. Okay, I had to
No,
get permission. Okay,
but most of those people, if you give them whatever, I mean, 15 minutes is a lot to be yelled at and sworn at. But if you give a person enough time to
vent.
vent, then you're usually okay. But
Yeah,
calling people at 1 o'clock in the morning is
yeah,
kind of not good either. I worked at in a General Electric call center selling their two-way radio stuff for a little bit of time, and it used to be you had to book 2 appointments and then you could go home for the day. I did that. Then they changed it. It could be 4 appointments. I did that. Then you could go home. My problem was I hit a slump,
yeah,
never got
yeah.
out of it. So,
Yeah, they let you go.
so
So this
they,
guy's bitching at me, right? Because his service was turned off. So
yep.
I pulled up his account. This is no lie, folks. This is no lie. He was turned off because he had over $8,000 in porn videos that he watched but didn't pay for. And he said, "Look, if I paid that bill right now, could you raise my limit to $15,000?"
Oh, I would
And
have
I
polite.
reached out. I reached out to a supervisor, and he said, "Yes, if he paid the 7,000 right now, we can turn it back on, and the supervisor will authorize the increase to 15,000 in porn."
I,
I'm sorry, there's
I
something wrong
guess
with that guy.
I guess
Trust me.
no, there may not be something wrong with the guy, but whatever. But my viewpoint is you make it clear to the guy that you watched $8,000 worth of that stuff. You watched $8,000 worth of cable
Yeah.
movies, and you didn't pay for it.
Well, this is
So
porn. Porn.
if we raised you to 15,000, you're going to do exactly what you just did. And I don't want to do that because I don't
Yeah.
want to have to go to my bosses and explain that. I would have said to the guy, if we turn off that feature from your
Now
cable,
he wanted the feature.
right,
Uh,
right. Well, I would have said no. I mean,
Yeah.
you come down here with $8,000 and you pay it off, and we'll turn it on now. You want to limit to $15,000? You put $15,000
Yes. Yeah.
prepay with us,
Yeah. Yeah. There you
and
go. There you go.
if you don't pay it, then we're going to shut
Yeah.
you off
Okay,
again.
he's going to watch his 15
Mhm.
grand and not pay the bill. But anyway, so I get this email from so I have Comcast Business Internet. Now that's another story. But I got this email from Comcast. It was legit, saying that your security edge has indicated that we were able to stop these particular viruses, right? But
Mhm.
we made improvements. We need to do an upgrade. Click here, right? So I
Mhm.
clicked there to do the upgrade. Within a microsecond, I could not access anything on my computer, on my cell phones,
Yep.
my iPads. It all went dead.
Yeah.
So I got on the phone to Comcast, and this is no lie, that's my wife. And I got that damn computer. Press one for this, but two for this. And I'm screaming at this phone, agent,
Oh,
agent, give me fucking agent, right? And I'm screaming and yelling,
my
and finally I got this Asian lady on. Thankfully, she spoke enough English, and I said to her that I got this email. I did what I was supposed to do. Now nothing works. Oh, no problem, Mr. Rhodes. Okay, check it out, Mr. Rhodes.
yeah,
Everything came
yeah.
back.
Well,
They they did an upgrade to their security level that had big bad time problems with it,
yeah.
and she said they're getting thousands of
That
phone calls just like mine.
that was why with the Win 11 Pro before it laid itself to rest. Uh, took the update for 24H2, but I never saw it in Windows Update. So I was on the phone with them. Where is it? And they explained to me it was the same thing. It was bug ridden, like your problem, and Microsoft fixed it and sent it back again, but in a different update. So all of these updates that you're sitting there waiting for are already there. But
Yeah.
if somebody had told me that, I would have stopped,
Yeah.
watching every day and looking for them.
When everything went dead, my first thought was, my God, I just get scammed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how do I fix this? But then I started thinking, wait a minute, it's my cell phones, it's my iPads, it's my TV set,
Well,
it's my computer. It has to be in the modem. That's where the problem has to
it
be.
could have
And
been
that's a Comcast issue.
right.
Thankfully, they fixed it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, folks, I
Yeah.
got to get
You gotta
going.
go. I gotta go.
Um, Let me know about tomorrow night, whether or not you're going to be using your setup or my
Okay.
setup, so we can
I
get set up ahead of time,
okay. Yeah.
and we're not late. And then make sure also that we're broadcasting on your pages. You know.
Yeah. That was my thing. Also, I forgot to because I'm so out of practice to
Yeah.
send it to all the groups. I sent it to a bunch of groups once you said that.
So
I went in and sent it to a bunch of groups, and
excellent.
let me jump out. Oh, now we're up to 35. And as I've always said, it's hard to get views in in the uh, in the morning. 10 o'clock is hard, and we've got views. We got 35, which is actually pretty good for 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever time we actually went on. And
Yeah, it was late.
Randy and I will work on being able to see the live chat on the screen if there is any.
Yeah.
We'll get it figured out. So we appreciate anybody whose comments that we didn't see, and
Yeah.
we will
So
get.
I only have one last thing to say is I have
Okay.
three now open as my calendar.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to
That's
find out about
that's
their ancestor,
that's
that's
three.
three. Yeah, that's yeah. Um, that's three. And
No, this is three.
so reach out to me. I can find all kinds of stuff. I had this one guy. He just left me for temporarily. He said, and a real nice black guy. He's from Texas. He's a Confederate, and I was able to find his second great grandfather who was a slave, and his third great grandmother who was a slave. I found the slave owners, and I was getting ready to share all that with him when he kind of like cut me off. But I can find all kinds of stuff.
Yep,
Uh,
he
so uh,
did. He
give
found
give
he found my like 400th great grandfather,
yeah,
King David.
yeah,
the
there
the
you go.
actual real king. And I had bugged Randy for a long time.
Yeah,
We'd have other people on, and he'd like say, "You're related to Clint Eastwood, and you're related to the Mayflower Madam. I mean the actual Madam on the Mayflower, and then
yeah,
not the one in New York. But by the way, you're
yeah,
related to her too."
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
and I'd be listening to all of that, and I'd go, he hasn't found anybody for me.
Yeah. You know, I'm
But
going to tell you what, that New York Mayflower Madam, she's not very pretty. So I think what she does is she has the business and
mhm,
she has these other women who do the
yeah,
work for her.
yeah,
But she was bragging about how, her great grandmother was the Madam of the Mayflower. I thought,
yep,
okay.
yep.
Anyways, I got to
All
get
right,
going.
Randy.
Any last words? If not, I'm going to kick you out.
Last word, kick me out.
Boom. Okay, folks. So we finally got it going here. We kind of like ended things, and uh, had a bad start, but we got there. We got there. Um, uh, it goes to show, folks, when you're whether you're doing a broadcast or you're just using your computer for personal, private stuff, whatever, make sure your coffee has a lid, or whatever drink you have, because you never know when you're reaching across the desk what that hand might hit, or you might get the wigglies and you might drop your cup. So, folks, this is Randy Rhodes of All Roads Lead Geology. I have three openings. Please if you're interested in finding out about your ancestors, I'm your guy. I'm also Colonel Randall Rhodes of the Carolina Grey Ghost. I have a show that's been in the works, getting the music together for it. So look forward to that. The working title right now is Colonel Randall Rhodes Brings the South to Life. I'm not sure if that is too long or whatever, but right now that is the working title. Colonel Randall Rhodes leads the South to life, brings the South to life. So I got to work on that. Anyways, folks, thanks for being here. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.